Hey guys, welcome back to Passion Fruit, and today we are ranking the Spider-Man movies. We're rating Tom Holland's, Tobey Maguire's, Andrew Garfield's, and of course, the animated movie that's absolutely spectacular. I threw that in there because why not? So let's just get right into it. We already know what we're doing. The tiers are goated on the sticks, very enjoyable, okay, and nah. Simple enough, I think, and let's just get right into it with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is very, very enjoyable. It is just so much fun. It's creative masterpiece that I think is not the top of Spider-Man movies, because I mean, you don't get that feeling of real people, but it's still a phenomenal animated movie. Deserved the Oscar. I'm pretty sure that it won, if I recall correctly. And I have to say that it's very enjoyable, almost goated. I can see why a lot of people would put it there, but not quite for me. Still very enjoyable. Miles Morales is a great Spider-Man, and I hope to see what comes next for sure. Next one is Spider-Man Far From Home. Far From Home is also very enjoyable. I think Tom Holland is a very amazing Spider-Man. He does it very well. He just has that feel-good vibe while he plays the role. I have to say that this movie, this villain with Jack Gyllenhaal is so good and so just interesting to see a villain that isn't, crazy powerful in his own right, but it's his brain, and the brain clashes with also the Stark tech. It's a fun movie, fun, almost campy vibe to it, like a lot of Tom Holland movies have, which I think is a good feel to be in the background of a Spider-Man movie, especially since he's supposed to be like a teenager growing up. So I think it's a great movie. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a nah. It's gotten so much flack. Everyone knows that it's not great. It's not bad. It's still watchable. It's not like, oh my god, what am I watching? Like, please pause this, let's do something else. I wouldn't say that. I would not. I really wouldn't. But I would say that it isn't, compared to all the other Spider-Man movies, it's just a nah. It really isn't great. I think that Andrew Garfield is a great Spider-Man. He really, I think he does it well. A lot more than people gave him credit for at the time. I bet you a lot more people are giving him credit more since the recent events. But it's a great movie. Now let's go to, not a great movie. It's a bad movie. My brain's not working right now. We got Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming is goated. I think that this movie, it's just great. Tony Stark in the movie, and his interactions with Peter Parker are just fantastic. Their acting duo, that's so great. Their chemistry is phenomenal, and we already got a hint of that in Civil War, and this movie cemented it even more. Michael Keaton is a phenomenal villain, like a crazy, amazing villain. He really, himself, the guy, not the Vulture, makes you have more fear than the actual Vulture. I feel like in a lot of scenes, like that scene in the car is amazingly made. Great acting from Michael Keaton in that scene. I loved watching it. You have Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is, I'm not a big fan. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not overly like, oh my gosh, the Tobey Maguire films are great. No, for me, Spider-Man 2 is okay. I think this is the one with, if I recall, Doc Ock. I could be wrong. Am I wrong? I'm not sure. I think I'm not wrong. I should have looked that up beforehand. I'm not gonna lie. I apologize. But it's still really good, and the ending's great. The actors are not that bad. I'm not a fan of Mary Jane in the Spider-Man movies. I think that's why, compared to a lot of other people, I'm not a big fan of these movies because I think the actress that plays Mary Jane, that her name's escaping me at the moment, is not, to me, is not really not that great. I'm not really attached to them too, as much as the other movies, for sure. Spider-Man 3 is nah. Spider-Man 3, I like I said, I'm not as big of a fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies as a lot of other people. I think you'll see my opinion on the first one, but the second one is okay, and then the third one is just too much going on for me. It's I think it's a lot funnier looking back at it. It has almost a Star Wars prequels vibe to it for sure, with just like the funny clips and the funny scenes and the quotable lines, which gives it a plus, but it's still not a great movie, like a sit down watch movie. It's definitely a fun time and fun clips, but a movie overall, not so much. But that's okay. It's all these movies I could sit down and watch today. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, anyways, the first Spider-Man movie, Tobey Maguire. Why can't I not think of Sam Raimi? The Sam Raimi films. I know a lot of people love them. Maybe I was just too young to really appreciate them when I watched them for the first time, and maybe I didn't get as attached. I don't know. But Sam Raimi does a great job in the first movie. I really enjoy the first movie a lot more than the other two. Of course, we saw Willem Dafoe. I love Willem Dafoe, and the most recent Spider-Man movie, and he's a phenomenal actor in the most recent movie and this first Spider-Man movie. I mean, he does a great job in here too. He is somewhat of a scientist, I've heard. All right, let's let the most recent movie for last. We got the Amazing Spider-Man. I think the Amazing Spider-Man is very enjoyable. I actually really liked this movie when it came out. I watched it in theaters, and I was confused by people didn't like it, and people were like dogging it on YouTube. And I knew I was younger for sure. I was like probably like in middle school, and I was watching these YouTube videos, people dogging Andrew Garfield and all this stuff. And I was like, what? I really like this movie. It's really fun. It's just a good time. It's it might not be a Sam Raimi film and not have that vibe that a lot of people liked in that one, but to me it was just a fun time, and I really appreciated that, for sure. All right, we got the most recent Spider-Man. It's goated, guys. I mean, what has not been said about this movie already? I think bringing back the others and just how hard it is to write that storyline, bringing back all these villains and pulling it off is impeccable. We have Spider-Man 2, the Amazing Spider-Man 2. A lot of villains. What the fuck's going on? I don't like it. Stop. We got Spider-Man 3. Too many villains. What's going on? I don't like it. Stop. But this movie has literally all the villains from these movies in it, and still pulls it off. It still writes it phenomenally, redeems a lot of characters in the past movies. It helps out the MCU for me personally. I was getting a little stale for me. I guess the MCU, the shows weren't doing it for me. I just haven't had the urge to sit down and watch episodes of these shows. But this movie definitely gave me life in the MCU. So it pulled off so many things. It orchestrated so many things and pulled it off phenomenally. Like I said, these two movies, the reason that I think they're not is the amount of villains and how much is going on that doesn't work. But this movie literally goes like, fuck you. People who said that don't do a lot of villains in a Spider-Man movie, we're going to prove you wrong. So, I mean, and they did. Great job for the writers and the director. Phenomenal. Yeah, and this is my tier list of all the most recent, not the most recent, but all of the live action Spider-Man movies. And of course, Spider-Verse. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.